Hello everybody, I am back with another video. This is your girl Smash Naylee. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video. This video is going to be about a series that I am watching on Netflix called The Worst Roommates Ever. Y'all, the first episode has me hooked, okay? And I am going to be following this series. I don't know how many episodes it is, but I will be following these series. So I will be doing a video for each episode that I watch. But this first one, y'all stick tuned for this. Okay, you guys, so before I get started, I just want to say if you are new to my channel, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification button. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Also, I am doing a little giveaway. It ends Monday, the 14th. I will be selecting 2 people, just a gesture to say thank you guys for helping me reach 50 subscribers. So if you have subscribed already, you are automatically in the running to be a part of the giveaway. Just go and look at my video regarding me hitting 50 subscribers and learn the rules and everything like that for what you need to do. And yeah, you have until Monday. I also have the items that I want to give away at the end of that video so you can see what you actually will possibly win. So check that out. So yeah, now that I got out of the way, let's talk this series. Okay, so the series is called Worst Roommates Ever. So it is a collection of different situations that people endured that people were least expecting. So every episode is a different story, and these are based on true stories, you guys. Like, I seen the first episode, and when I tell y'all I am hooked, like, this is the type of stuff that I like to watch. Like, I like to watch this type of stuff. So I'm gonna try to break it down as quick as possible and everything because it is a whole lot to unpack. It's like an hour long per episode. So let me just break it down like this. Okay. It is centered around an old lady named Doretha. Oh, old white lady named Doretha. And a schizophrenia mental ill person named Bert. Okay. Bert, and I'm gonna tell you how they tie into each other. Bert used to live in Costa Rica until he was about 16 years old. And him and his family migrated to Sacramento. Okay. And some way, somehow, Bert ended up on the streets. One day, a lady by the name of Judy saw him, and she pretty much was like his guide for the rest of his life or whatever. Judy was a part of an organization called the Volunteers of America because in Sacramento, the homeless rate was so high. The homeless rate and I guess the elderly, the people, mental illness was so high in Sacramento that the government really did not give them any aid. Okay. So they was pretty much living on streets, boarding homes, wherever they can lay their head. So Judy stumbled across Bert. Bert, whole thing, he really did look like he was just lost, lonely. You know what I'm saying? Just really just gave up on life in a sense. Judy, you know, convinced him, would you feel better if you lived in a different spot where you can, flourish a little bit better? Because where he was living at, a place called Detox, she didn't feel like he should have been there. And she had asked the people, well, why is he here and not in the boarding home? Because they said that they wasn't sure that the people were going to take care of him because of his situation. You know, he's schizophrenic, he's a mental ill person. So she stumbled across this place, this boarding home place that a lot of people were raving about or whatever. This is where Miss Doretha comes into play. Judy has never heard of this woman. So Judy and Bert decided to go to the house and, you know, scope it out, investigate, whatever the case may be. And Doretha, she looked like a sweet old lady with cats, and she had a couple of other people living there. She lived at the top, and everybody else lived at the bottom. And she would, you know, fix their food, wash their clothes, whatever the case may be. Everybody had to have some type of social security check in order for them to stay there, because they had to pay room and board, all that type of stuff, you know, stuff like that. So Doretha was very popular and favored in the political arena or whatever. She wasn't a politician, but she would, you know, support campaigns, and she would give to charity, and, you know, she would do all that stuff, you know. So it seems like she was a really, really, really good old lady at heart, okay? Now, those who didn't have family were able to come to her house: alcoholics, mental patients, homeless people, whatever. Bert didn't have family in the States. And, okay, Bert didn't have any family. So Doretha said that she would be his, pretty much his guardian, whatever, over his finances, checks, whatever. And she was able to cash those people's checks who didn't have any caregiver and put them in their bank accounts, which she did. So cool, whatever. Bert seemed like he was having a good time there, no issues. Judy would call, check up on him. This particular time that she called and checked up on Bert, Doretha was like, he's not here. He went to Mexico with his brother. They had a fiesta or some shit. Now, mind y'all, Bert didn't have any family around him like that. So Judy was like, oh, okay. So Doretha was like, call back probably like a couple of days. No, he should be back in like a couple of days. So Judy calls back in a couple of days. Doretha was like, he's still not here, whatever the case may be. So Judy was like, well, I would give it until Monday or whatever day she said, and I'm gonna do a missing person, call the police and do a missing person report. So Judy was like, when she got in the office that morning, she had got a phone call from a guy who was telling her, like, yeah, Bert is no longer here anymore, all this, all that, all that. So Judy was just like, no, this doesn't sound right. Okay? So let me, because I had to write this stuff down because it was just too much. So she ran a boarding house. I talked about them going to visit for the first time. Bert was there. Now let me give you the background history of Miss Doretha, honey. Okay, she was born in 1929. She both her parents were like deceased when she was younger. In the 19 Her first arrest was in 1948 for forgery. So she was already fucking doing fraudulent shit. Okay. In the 1950s, she worked as a prostitute, and then she became a madam. Then she ended up going to jail because she was a prostitute and a madam running a brothel. Okay. So she was that type of chick. Okay. And in the 1980s, she met a girl at a bar. Can't remember the name. No, she met a guy at the bar. Can't remember his name. And he offered to take her home because he was like 10 minutes away from where she stayed at. And I guess they went back to his place first. But she ended up slipping him some shit because he started feeling real woozy and he started feeling paralyzed. He said he couldn't move, but he can see what she was doing. Like she was stealing all his coins, his money, his jewelry, all that shit. Even took the wedding ring off his finger and she dipped, y'all. She dipped out on his ass. And he ended up, telling the police, whatever the case may be. She also portrayed herself as a healthcare professional. And she would go around to these houses, whether elderly or whatever the case may be, or the sickly, and take advantage of them and shit. So she would slip them the same shit too, get them all paralyzed or whatever, and she would steal all that shit. See, her stealing their checks and shit and all that type of stuff. This is how she was able to do the shit that she was doing, because she referred to herself as as independent financially, or however she said it. Okay, so let's get to a point where she met this lady named Ruth Monroe. Ruth Monroe and this guy that she was dating was at a bar that Doretha was working at the time. And Doretha knew the guy that Ruth was dating. And so that's how they met. They became really, 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 really close, right? And they decided to open up a little bar or eatery or whatever you want to call it. And Doretha, with her slick ass, because Ruth was a little bit more financially stable than Doretha would call and tell Ruth, the business is not making any money. The business is not making any money. So Ruth will go ahead and make up the difference or whatever and give the money to Doretha to put into the account or whatever. She did that on multiple occasions. The guy that Ruth was with passed away, okay? Ruth didn't want to live by herself, so she invited Doretha to live with her. And this was, I think in the 80s. Yeah, in the 80s. So Ruth had a son and a daughter. This particular day, her son decided to come and visit his mom. And he seen Doretha sitting at the table, just chilling, minding her own motherfucking business. And he was like, "Where's my mom?" She was like, "Oh, she's upstairs. She's laying down." She said she wasn't feeling good. All the while, that bitch done fucking... that bitch fucking drugged her, okay? Over the course of time, she was drugging her. Because her son was like, he came in one day and seen that his mom was having a drink, and she don't drink because she was allergic to alcohol, whatever. But Doretha had made her drink to calm her nerves because of the business not doing so well or whatever. So over the course of time, Doretha was, giving her drinks or food or whatever, but she was putting that shit in there. She was lacing her shit. So he went upstairs to go and to try to see how his mom was doing. And Doretha was like, "No, I want to go up there." Da 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 da. And he was like, "No, I'm going to check on my mama," as he should. So he get up there. His mom was pretty much still. She couldn't move. He said, "Only thing I could see was her eyes open," and she just started crying. And he was like, "I was trying to comfort her to tell her that Doretha would take care of you because she informed them that she was a healthcare professional." So he thought that she was in good hands. Later on that day, or the next day, he got a call from his sister to say that their mom had passed. And Doretha called the daughter to tell the daughter, "You need to come and get your mom's stuff." All the while, she done took all her jewelry, whatever money she had. Like, she stole everything. She took everything beside a motherfucking empty purse. Because she told her daughter, "Yeah, your mama gave me everything. She left me everything." Which is odd. But, yeah. So, she was really, really ruthless. She was really, really scantless. Okay, and I'm gonna try not to be too long with the situation because there's a lot of shit. So her first time really going to jail was back in 1982. She was found guilty on 5 felonies and sentenced to 5 years in a state pen, with option for parole or whatever. After she did her 5 years, that's when she met Ruth Moreau and all that type of stuff. And that's when she started this whole boarding place or whatever the case may be. Now, the stipulations of her parole, I'm about to get to that. So, back to Judy having a gut feeling that something had happened to Bert because Doretha kept saying he's not here, he hasn't came back from Mexico, whatever the case may be. So Judy's like, this ain't gonna fly because I brought him here. I'm responsible for him. I want to make sure that he's doing good. Because she kind of had like a little soft spot for Bert because she had a son who had similar situations or whatever. So she had a soft spot for Bert. And she contacted the police or whatever and told the officer about the case or whatever the case may be. And she said, I just want you to go over there and talk and ask questions or whatever the case may be. So the officer and her parole officer went to her house to scope it out, see what's going on. Oh, but let me go back a little bit. When Judy and Bert went to the house for the first time, Judy ran across somebody that she met and helped a long time ago, by a guy named John Sharp. Remember, John Sharp. Okay. So let me tell you about John Sharp. John Sharp. John Sharp was not for the bullshit. John Sharp used to be in the boarding house with Doretha and Bert and all them. And Judy decided that she was going to reach out to John to ask him, was there anything wrong at the house? Was there anything going on? And this is where the police came to actually come to her house with her parole officer. John Sharp pretty much told Judy, yes, there is things wrong. She asked him, did you go to Mexico? He said, none of us went to Mexico. And she had asked him, was there anything wrong at the house, whatever? He was like, yeah. And she was like, what? She was like, she does a lot of digging. She does a lot of digging of holes. And that's when the whole shebang started to blow up for her ass. Because John, he wasn't for the shit, okay? So Sean was pretty much like she's trying to get all the other guys to lie for her because she ain't want to get caught because she knew she was wrong. And she would tell them, you do this for us, then I'll make it worth your while if you lie for me, because I can't go back to jail. They're going to send me to jail. So thank God that John Sharp had a mind of his own and he knew that it was not right what she was doing, and he motherfucking snitched. Yep, he motherfucking snitched. He didn't give a fuck about the motherfucking code. He didn't give a fuck if you kicked him out of that motherfucking house. He told on that ass. And this is the real reason why they wanted to start digging in her backyard or whatever. This shit is just crazy, y'all. This shit is just crazy. Crazy. Let me go back to the officer and her parole officer coming up to her house, to scope out to make sure that everything because Judy had filed a report. So they got there and the officer was, talking to her, and he was just like, we got a call from Judy and she just wanted us to come and do a wellness check to make sure that Bert, is okay, whatever the case may be. And he had asked her, do you think that it's okay that we can, search your premises or whatever, search the inside of your house or whatever? She was like, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. And so then he had asked her, he said, what is it exactly that you run here? Because he already knew that she violated her parole. That's what her parole officer was said. She violated her parole. So he had asked that. And she looked at her parole officer and was like, I violated my parole. So the stipulations of her parole was she couldn't pretend to be taking care of anybody, seeing she's a professional. She couldn't run like a boarding facility and stuff like that. She couldn't do it because she already went to prison for forgery and all that type of stuff. So they're like, okay. So then the officer was like, do you mind if we check out your backyard, dig your backyard, whatever the case may be? And she was skeptical at first, and she was like, well, why for? So he told her whatever he needed to tell her, and she was like, oh, okay, you go ahead, check out the backyard, whatever the case may be. Now this is where the shit is getting interesting, y'all. So they go in the backyard, look around, start digging up some stuff, whatever the case may be, okay? Miss Doretha, she is looking at them while they're there. And she pretty much asked the officer, am I being charged? Am I being arrested for whatever? He was like, well, not at the moment. We really don't have anything on you at the moment. She's like, okay, because I want to go across the street to the hotel so that I could go ahead and get me some coffee. Oh, motherfucking Doretha. She was a little stick little white woman. And because the officer really didn't have anything to hold her on, he had to let her go. But it didn't dawn on him that she was trying to make a fucking run for it. So little Miss Doretha, she done went to the hotel, and then boom, she was just out of sight, out of mind. So while she done making a run for it, they're in her backyard and they stumbled across human remains. So it was the first body that they found. So they was like, oh, okay, we found the body. Okay. So they proceed to continue to dig because they still haven't found Bert. He's still missing. They don't know where he at. So they dig a little more, found another body. They dig a little more, they found another body. They dug a little more and they found another body. The last body that they found was Bert's, because it was the heaviest body out there, because Bert was a little hefty guy. And when they realized that she had a motherfucking human cemetery in her backyard, it was too late for them to try to catch her because she was already gone. She already dipped out on the ass. So they had to hurry up, get the coroners out there, get the bodies. They had to hurry up and put out a mass notification to look for her, whatever the case may be. So she was on the run for a little bit of time or whatever. And I think somebody recognized her and they called the police and they ended up picking her up where she was at. And she still had on that same motherfucker, because she had on a red coat, whatever, red dress, whatever. She had on that same motherfucking red. Y'all, Miss Doretha. Oh, man. So, a total of 7 bodies was found in her backyard, y'all. 7. And pretty much all of them was like the same. The toxicology report, I think that's how you say it. It all was like the same shit that happened to them. They were overdosed, laced with the same type of shit, because when they went into the house to do to search a little bit more, they found a lot of empty capsules, blue and white capsules. They found a lot of empty of them on the floor and stuff like that. And the officer was like, yeah, I had this, I smelt this specific stench in the house, whatever. And he pulled back the carpet and all that type of stuff, and it was a real bad stench of blood. So yeah. So they end up getting her. And I'm paraphrasing because it was so long. I didn't want to do word for word. But Ruth Monroe, Ruth Monroe, her toxicology report came back with high levels of some serious narcotics and shit, like codeine and shit like that. Like that lady literally psycho. She's psycho. So they had the quarter coroners and all and stuff like that. So in 1985, she was released from prison. No, okay, so I'll take that back. That was before. That was before. When she went to jail the first time, 1985, 86, she was released from prison. And let's get into, a little bit more about who she was. She was married 4 times. So back then, they really didn't have a lot of ways to track down a person, and it was kind of hard, especially if you had different last names, being married or whatever. So she was doing a lot of dirty shit up under each of those motherfucking names. And y'all, she probably knocked off her husband's was probably them bodies that was in that cemetery, but who knows. Then they talked about this one time where she was with some guy, whatever, and he pretty much I guess was dating her or whatever, and she fucking knocked him off too and found his body at the motherfucking water. This woman's crazy, y'all, but I love this type of shit. Like, it was so interesting. I'm like, damn. So let's see. Let's get to when she gets to go to court on trial for all these bodies in her backyard. She got caught. She got charged with, I think it was like 7 or 8 counts, because with Ruth Monroe and the other bodies that they found, they only was able to charge her with 3 out of the 7. So I know Bert was one. I think the guy at the water was another one. I forgot who else they was able to charge her with, but however the case may be, she got charged with life with no possibility of parole. So baby girl was gonna die in prison, which unfortunately she died in prison. Okay, so when I tell y'all, I was not expecting that shit. I wasn't expecting that shit at all. I thought somebody was doing something to her. I didn't even know that she was doing. I didn't expect for her to be doing that shit to them. I thought somebody was doing something to her. But baby, listen. She a mastermind to the fullest. And if I'm not mistaken, it is an actual movie that referenced this type of situation that people do when they take advantage of the elderly and the mentally ill who get checks and shit. I think I seen a movie, either a movie on Lifetime or a movie on Netflix. I don't know, but it's a movie out there based off this type of shit. Shit is crazy. And what I want to say to this is to families out there, like, get along with your family, love on your family, keep in touch with your families as best as possible, because when they get of age, a lot of times they don't have nobody. So if you have family, keep your family close, because you don't want this situation to happen to your grandma or your granddad or your uncle or your auntie or a cousin that's, you know what I'm saying, mentally ill or whatever the case may be. You don't want a stranger to come in to take over and take advantage and or possibly kill your loved one. Now, granted, it might be some family members that's on that shit too, but for the most part, it is strangers doing this shit. So to prevent anybody for having any type of guardianship over health and finances, you got to make sure that you are close with at least one family member, at least. Because Bert didn't have anybody. He moved to the States with his family when he was 16. And him and his family separated. And he didn't have any family when he got murdered. And that's a sad state to be in when you don't have anybody by your side, nobody to speak up on your behalf, nobody who wants to verify that it's you. And that's a sad state to be in, especially when you're living, you know, on the streets and you feel like you have nowhere to go. All hope is lost. Nobody loves you. You can't find your family members. You too far gone mentally, or you are alcoholic, or you too far gone on the drug tip. Like, that's a sad state to be in. So if y'all can help it, look out for your loved ones, your elderly loved ones, to the best of your ability, because when a stranger gets a hold of them, it's a wrap for the most part. And I hate to say it, it's a wrap. So that was good. I'm definitely going to be following this series. So the next video, I will be talking about episode 2. Because this one right here, I'm glad they put this one first, because I think if this wasn't first, I probably wouldn't even be interested in this. But if y'all want to watch it in its entirety and get all the additional tea that I did not spill in here, go on Netflix. It's called Worst Roommates Ever. So good. This is actually good. This is actually better than motherfucking Growing Up Hip Hop and Housewives of Atlanta and Orange County and all that shit to me. See, I like this type of shit. I like the mysteries. I like the investigative type shit. Like, this is right up my alley. So, yeah, I'm going to end this video right here. And I'm about to get ready to watch episode number 2. So I could probably do another video either tonight or tomorrow, whatever the case may be. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to participate in my giveaway for reaching 50 subscribers. And I might do another video. I might do another video tonight. I always say that, but you know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it is what it is. You just got to stick around to find out. Yeah, so I'll catch y'all on the next video. Bye.